Zigbee Manufacturing, Part 2. The production budget. I know this sounds like I'm being overly simplistic, but it's easy to forget. In April, we're going to be making what we're going to sell in May. In May, we're going to be making what we're selling in June. In June, we're going to be making what we're selling in July. So we need to go back to our original units. We made these last month. So we need May's sales for April's production. We need June's sales for May's production. And the text tells us that July we expect to sell 20,500, and that's what we need to make in June. The text says that it's company policy to make 80% of the following month's inventory and have that on hand at the end. So at the end of April, we need to have 20% of May's sales on hand. At the end of May, we have to have 20% of June's sales on hand, etc. So, remember, this is May's sales. This is June's sales. And that's July sales. At the end of April, we want 20% of May's sales, and that's 15,600. We want, at the end of May, we want 20% of June's sales. That's 16,000. And at the end of June, we want 80% of July's sales, and that's 16,400. Now, we need to add to that our budgeted sales. Going back to this, these are our budgeted sales, our expected sales, our hoped for sales for April, May, and June. So, we'll use April's budgeted sales for April. We certainly have to have 20,500 units available. We need to have 19,500 available in May, and we need to have 20,000 available in June. Okay, that's what we need to have. That's the budgeted sales for the period. So at the very minimum, we're going to need 36,100 units in April. We're going to need, and that's these two units added together. We're going to need 35,500. And again, that's these two units added together in May. And when we do the same addition for June, we need 36,400. But remember, we had some beginning inventory. At each period, we had some beginning inventory. They tell us that the beginning inventory for April was 20% of the sales necessary for April. So that's 20% of the 20,500, that's 16,400. That's what we had. So we subtract those two, our minimum required units minus what we had on hand. So in April, we need to make 19,700. That gives us the units we need to sell, plus the units we need for the following month, minus the units we started with. Now we're going to do the same thing for the next 2 months, keeping in mind that each of those months we had inventory, beginning inventory that we calculated. This was 15,600 and this was 16,000. So let's do the math, and again, same math, same calculus if you will. At the very minimum, we need 35,500. We had 15,600 on hand. So in May, we need to produce 19,900. In June, we need to produce at a minimum 36,400 minus the 16,000 that we had on hand gives us 20,400. You have to read these problems carefully because it's really easy to get mixed up with this month, next month, part of this month, part of that month. Just read them carefully, underline stuff, make yourself notes. It's really easy to get yourself bollywoxed with this.